Thank you, Hanka, for the introduction. Welcome, everyone, for the panel discussion at the end of the day one of Kentico Experience Connection 2022. The panel discussion topic is digital experience maturity, how to grow it, how to use it, how to assess it, and how it can help you actually achieve your business goals. Let me introduce and welcome my guest speakers today in this panel discussion. First of all, Adam Griffith, Managing Director at Luminary. Welcome, Adam. Then Benny Lucas, Head of Marketing Technology at Resolution Digital, our gold sponsor, title sponsor of this panel discussion. Hello, Benny. And last but not least, Dominic Pinter, Managing Director at Kentico Experience. Hello, Dominic. Gentlemen, thank you very much for attending today's panel discussion, and let's dive into it. The first question, digital experience maturity, the topic of today's panel discussion, refers to a level of sophistication in measuring and delivering the digital experience or digital customer experiences across different touch points. Yeah? We can also call it digital sophistication if you want. And it tells you how successful you are in adoption of different digital marketing, digital commerce, digital customer experience tools. And it can be measured on a company level, department level, or even on the personal level. And in today's world, of rapid digital transformation, growing digital experience maturity is said to be crucial for the survival of the business, survival of the companies. Yeah, it's a key element of business change today. So what is your personal experience with this concept of digital experience maturity? How important is it for you, your companies, and your businesses nowadays? And let me ask first this question, you, Adam.
Thanks, Jan. So I think, from our perspective, these kind of models and obviously the focus on understanding an organization's digital maturity is critical. It's something that we are in constant conversation with our clients about. I think it's important for organizations to understand where they're at currently in order to actually be able to move forward and set targets for where they want to get to. So these models provide that sort of, I suppose, benchmarking tool set. And I think the Kentico experience, digital experience maturity model provides a really comprehensive model specifically for that DXP choice. At Luminary, we have a similar model, but it's a little bit more higher level that's focused more across the whole sort of digital transformation piece, which we call the 7 pillars. And we cover off in that kind of analysis, a similar kind of maturity, I suppose, analysis, where we look at the organization's strategy and vision. We understand how they approach customers, how they sort of manage customer centricity. We look at their kind of data, how they manage data, how they collect data, how they utilize data. We look at their sort of omni-channel experience, so all the channels that they're actually going to market with. We look at their content. We look at the resources that they have available to actually, I suppose, apply digital, manage digital. And then we look at their sort of entire marketing technology stack with all of those other 6 items understood. So I think these kind of models, coming back to your question, are really important for organizations to benchmark, to understand where they're at. And it's then they can then prioritize. They see what's, where the gaps are. They can prioritize what they need to work on.
Thank you, Adam. Let us jump to Benny. And Benny, what's your understanding and personal experience with this concept in past few months and years of this rapid change?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, look, Adam hit some really good points there. I guess understanding a client's digital maturity and the enablers to empower that evolution is really critical. It's a really important process to ensure you understand your current state of play and future needs. And I really do like that you mentioned that this can be measured at not just a company level, but really down to that personal level. Fortunately, over my career, I've always had a keen interest in all things digital. So really excelling in my maturity has been exciting for me. However, I know working with clients, this is not always the case for them on that personal level. And educating and leading them is important to drive that overall evolution for their business. So similar to Luminary at Resolution Digital, we have some proprietary frameworks such as ResoScope and the ResoPath framework that are in place to ensure that we can identify priorities, define initiatives, and put plans in place to really tackle these in order of importance to quickly realize incremental gains. We see technology as one part of a wider evolution story, which also includes, people or design, content, media, and data. At Resolution, we've analysed evolutionary trends after having worked with hundreds of different clients at varying stages of their digital and marketing maturity. So by mapping our clients across evolutionary enablers, it really allows us to help mature or evolve our clients' digital offering.
Adam, you want to react?
Yeah, I just wanted to pick up on something Benny mentioned there, which I think is really important around these kind of benchmarking things, is recognizing that, and you touched on it as well, Yendo, at the start, around that maturity can exist at different levels. And we often find with working with clients that you might have an individual who has a really high level of digital maturity, but then the organization it doesn't, and so they're trying to drive change, but the organization is unlikely to be able to move as quickly as that individual may like. And so I suppose it's understanding that maturity at those different levels, which then can help, I suppose, organizations prioritize and work out what's realistic to attack first, and what's realistic to achieve in a certain time period. I think that's something that we find a lot, even with clients moving on or changing or new people coming on board. It's always evolving. That maturity it can actually go down and up. So it's good to sort of always keep an eye on it, because it's not something that's static.
I would also say that then also it can grow up with one or two champions in the company. That if you can grow the digitally experienced maturity of one important person in the company, then it can naturally help the department or the team to grow, and then obviously it can influence the company level. I'll give the word to Dominic now to summarize actually our internal view on digitally experienced maturity, and then maybe let's stay on the topic about actually this growing through the person to the team to the company. But Dominic, now the floor is yours.
Thank you, Enda. So yeah, I mean, one of the key reasons for me personally why I like this concept and these models in general is, and really why actually I think it was important also for us to create such a model, was to really guide the people towards what is the next step, right? Because the thing is that, I mean, our digital marketing suite, if you will, in our own product exists since 2008, right? So 14 years now. And we still see people actually struggling with adoption, some of the capabilities. And there might be definitely individuals in the company who maybe are more advanced, and who maybe get that. But what we see as a reality still today is that vast majority of the audience out there is simply a bit confused and lost in what exactly is that next step, and how they can advance and how they can actually grow that maturity, right? And that for me is really the probably most important part of the model, really, that understanding, right, like where you are and how you can move forward from there. So this is what I wanted to say as kind of like my personal point of view, like what is really the most important aspect from my perspective of these models. And it's great that actually other companies are also embracing that, and that actually there is really, I would say, broader concept across our ecosystem, where everybody is trying to achieve this advancement, and really guiding people through their digital journey, and helping them to advance.
Thank you, Dominic. I mentioned and I touched that idea that Benny and Adam mentioned about like growing inside the company, yeah, maybe from the person to the team to the department and to the whole company. And yeah, if I look actually to our company, if I look to my marketing team, I can clearly say who's the champion, yeah, in digital experience maturity, and who's helping actually to grow to the rest of the team, yeah. Sometimes even using our own model, yeah. So like Benny, do you have like your own champions internally, and do you use your own framework in Resolution Digital to grow the digital experience maturity, not of your clients, but of Resolution Digital too?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's been a real key focus from our CEO is we need to practice what we preach. We can't just talk about doing all these great things for our clients. We really need to be able to do it ourselves to then show that we can do it for clients. So absolutely. I think I love the term catalyst, having a catalyst within the team who really then invokes change. Like they're the ones that drive adoption, whether that be internally within Resolution Digital or on the client side as well. Having a catalyst within that team, that person who can see the future off the back of maturing as a business or as a person, that's really what drives that change. So I mean, our website is built on Kentico 13 now, so we're getting in and playing with all of the different functions within that, things that we're doing for clients. We should be really practicing what we preach.
Yeah, thank you, Benny. We've already mentioned with Dominic earlier today that our own website is built on Kentico Experience 13 too. But Adam, what about you and using actually your own models in Luminary? Are you using them?
Yeah, I think to Benny's point around practicing what you preach, I think that's something that a lot of agencies fail to do, and often it's they don't focus on their own marketing. They don't focus on their own I suppose digital experience and digital marketing. It's something that we've been investing in for a number of years, and continue to work with the team on, I suppose, making sure that everyone has a role to play in that. So obviously, yeah, we do have those champions internally that are driving that or driving areas of that, but we always try and make sure that the whole team is across that, and then that carries forward to the work we do, with our clients. So yeah.
Awesome, Dominic. I see that you want to react. So
yes, I actually have a question to both Benny and Adam. When you speak about these internal champions, can you give maybe some tips or recommendations to others how you actually recognize that this particular person is the champion, and they should be, kind of encouraged or empowered to lead the others in the change? Because I guess it's not so obvious at first that actually, this person has certain initiative, especially when you are not educated about the topic, right? Like at first, it actually, even maybe it doesn't make sense, to support like those initiatives when you don't know what is the impact. So how do you evaluate that actually, this person is really that catalyst and that, is driving that change?
Yeah, I can go first on that one. I guess, look, from my point of view, it comes down to, for me, it is kind of an inherent, you can see someone is excited or passionate about that particular piece of, whether it be technology or really their career and their learning. It really goes down to some of the core ethos in terms of the way that we hire for people in our business, for example, is it's really based on that drive and that passion. And then it's about then fostering that person who is the catalyst, you know, like providing the training and making sure that they are being, I guess, exposed to things that might not necessarily be their day-to-day job, but it's really allowing them to grow and broaden their kind of horizons in terms of what that job can be.
Yeah, I think that's it's a great point, Benny. I think we're similar from our side. I think it's a mixture of either sometimes these kind of functions sit within certain roles more naturally. So yeah, sometimes it's more of it's part of their job, but absolutely, you know, you're really looking for someone who has the passion or the interest. You know, from our perspective, two of our values that really kind of come to the fore there are that sort of passion as one of our key values, and then we could talk about spirit of inquiry, which is that sort of idea or value of always looking to improve things, not to point out problems, but to sort of isolate and recognize opportunities for improvement. You know, and then taking that to the team, we sort of say listen, learn, then act. And so often with these kind of problems within most organizations is they only really complain or they isolate the problem. There's no listening and learning, and certainly no acting. And so I suppose that's what we try and encourage our team to do, is not only, you know, get your head up and actually recognize that there's an opportunity or a problem, but then go that step further to listen and learn why that problem exists, and then look to act on addressing it. So I think, you know, you see that in people with, as Benny mentioned, that there's that sort of passion or desire to actually move something forward. So that's probably our perspective there.
I like how you mentioned that, like listening, learning, and acting, because it really like sounds great to me. Connecting it with what actually Dominic was introducing in his keynote today about the mentor way, yeah, about the brand archetype we want to build for Kentico experience. This is the kind of work, kind of behavior we want to build for Kentico experience, and obviously it's great to see this kind of behavior also in the partner network. So this is really great to hear that this kind of approach really helps. And Dominic, you want to react, and also, are there any other tips from your side how to like find that champion or catalyst?
Yeah, so I guess that one thing is really how to find such a person internally, and even our digital experience maturity model was at the beginning really initiative of one of our employees, and he basically came up with the idea, and suddenly actually we saw how many things could be impacted by this model. And I mean, it took us actually, I would say, a couple of weeks or even months before we really recognized how powerful this framework or tool really is, and how we can leverage that really. So, you know, coming back to this personal experience, I think that sometimes, you know, it simply takes a little bit of time before you really recognize that there is a person in the team, you know, who can drive some change and move things forward. So for me, really, the only tip which I would have is to be always open to your employees and try to understand why they are excited or engaged on particular topics or particular projects, and really, you know, what is their motivation behind that. And you know, if you are having these conversations with the people from your team, that probably helps you actually to determine who's that person. But I wanted to then get also to one other thing, and I would say the challenge, because one thing is when you have people internally, and as Benny pointed out, you have certain criteria how you hire people, you have certain criteria how you try to define the culture, within your organization. But obviously, our business is pretty much that we are working with the clients and with the partners. And Adam and Benny, you are also, working a lot with your clients. And I guess that the even harder for me is to sometimes recognize who is that person on the other side, who is on the same page and who can be really kind of the ambassador of that change for that organization I'm working with, right? So do you have any tips or recommendations there? Because again, frankly speaking, coming back a little bit to what I said earlier, what we see a lot is still the pattern where people really buy our platform and they are full of ambitions and aspirations to really take their digital presence to a whole different level, right? And leverage things like personalization, marketing automation, and so on. And then they kind of get a little bit stuck in phase one, which is really the content management and creation really of primary digital channel, which is essentially the website with some content. And somehow they simply stop there because they either don't have enough in their budget, they run out of time, and they simply somehow lose the motivation actually continue on this project. And for me personally, what I believe is that it's very crucial to also find somebody on that other side who you can engage and who really can be that ambassador of the change, and who can help you to then really move it forward, and just from the website to create really solid digital experience, and digital channel, which will help then that company to achieve their business objectives. So what's your take on that?
Before you jump in, Adam, I will add another part to that question. One part is obviously how to find these internal people, and I would add the second level of to that question, and this is how to help them to measure that, internally, how to measure that business success in growing digital experience maturity, building digital experiences, and how to make sure that it's really seen as a success and it really helps the business goals. Because at the end, this is what the whole digital experience maturity growth is about. So people and KPIs. Adam.
Absolutely. No, I think it's a really interesting point. I think it's tough to find that unicorn on the client side, from an agency perspective, to find that unicorn that's going to magically I suppose transform an organization. I think the agency has a critical role to play in supporting that. So there's a couple of things I think going on there. For me, it's you can think about sort of three things. It's sort of mindset, skill set, tool set. So on the kind of mindset side of things, it's helping organizations, so the people, the humans that we're working with, to try to move towards more of a product mindset with their digital transformation process rather than a project mindset. I think when you run in a project sense, there's always that, I suppose, tiredness that creeps in towards the end of a project, and people just want to be done and they want to move on from it. And whereas what we try and encourage is more of a, I suppose, it comes from the sort of agile ways of working, where we're trying to deliver that customer value as quickly as possible, get to your sort of MVP, if you like, the minimum viable product, as quickly as possible. But as a team recognizing that is just the first release, and that there's more to come after that. So I think there's that sort of mindset thing there. I think with the skill set thing, what we've found to be really helpful is actually offering training to our clients. So whether that's in agile ways of working or mindsets around operating in this sort of digital ecosystem. So, concepts like embracing uncertainty, understanding how to deal with complexity, all these things that are really critical to implementing digital in a positive way and not getting burnt out. Because I think, a lot of organizations, they sort of apply a budget, expect a huge thing, and the agencies aren't actually doing their job by saying that's not realistic, or let's break it down, let's do one thing at a time, let's build a roadmap, let's gradually roll this out. So I think there's that sort of skill set thing that can be addressed through training. And then, helping clients utilize different tools. So there's the tool set thing. It's like obviously something like Experience, which gives you, a lot of, functionality, and that's a unified DXP model out of the box, but also just ways of working tools, whether that's Jira or Confluence for documentation and task management, or other tools to help organizations run better. So yeah, this might be sort of one way to look at it, is that sort of mindset, skill set, tool set.
Thanks a lot, Adam. Benny, how do you like find these people and set the KPIs with them to succeed in the journey?
Yeah, look, this is where having those frameworks that I spoke to earlier is really important, because it does help set up a tangible roadmap with tangible goals and KPIs. And I guess at the end of the day, both the client and ourselves, we need to be accountable for those goals, and we need to make sure that, at the end of the day, those goals are met for us to then be able to really leverage the great and exciting things off the back of the DXP. So being realistic, making sure we are communicating as clearly as we can with our stakeholders. So they obviously have to communicate with their stakeholders. I think another piece around stakeholders as well is, it's finding that excitement, finding that catalyst on the client side. There's obviously more and more different departments being involved in some of these technology decisions, as well as like implementation. So long gone are the days of the CIO holding all the budget and all of the say in terms of where that money gets spent. Like marketing has a massive role to play in the DXP selection process as well. So it's about making sure that, we're getting the different departments from that client on that call for that maturity mapping session. And then from there, with those different departments, it's really easy and clear to see most of the time, where that excitement is coming from and who's going to be driving the agenda from the client side.
Okay, I'll see Adam wants to react, and then I want to move forward because we are in the middle of the discussion right now. But Adam, first, I'll give you the chance to react.
Yeah, I just wanted to pick up on your sort of the question you added to that and around KPIs and measurement, because I think it is something that sometimes these maturity models don't deal with explicitly. And so I think one of the things that we found successful with our client engagements is at the very beginning, undertaking a process to build a measurement framework, which is essentially just basically creating a list of target objectives and having a way that those numbers can be shared, communicated, and actually operationalized. So that's something that organizations are regularly checking and acting on, so that they're using data or using these sort of KPIs or objectives to actually then do something about how they're performing, not just vanity metrics. So I think that's something that we found to be really important on that front.
Thanks, Adam. I would like to go back a little bit in the discussion with catalysts, yeah, because we've been discussing the internal catalysts, internal champions. And then we have external catalysts of the digital transformation, of growing digital experience, maturity, etc. And there are obviously plenty of external catalysts, but there's been one quiet, big, and discussed during past 2 years, and that's obviously the pandemic, the COVID-19. So do you really see, or have you really seen the rapid increase in the digital experience maturity growth due to the COVID? Or do you think that the pace of that maturity growth was basically similar as it was before the COVID? And also, who was actually responsible for that push, like internally in the company, when actually the external catalyst come in play? So basically, how strong catalyst the COVID was, and who was the one who was the internal catalyst to actually use this external COVID situation to really grow the digital experience maturity, to really start some digital transformation? Or is it just the buzzword we are hearing and nothing really happened in reality in businesses? Benny, I'll let you start.
Yeah, look, from our side, we've definitely seen an increase in funding for digital transformation initiatives during the pandemic. And I guess that's really for businesses to stay competitive within the industry. The pandemic has kind of supercharged a lot of strategic technology investment, and see that as a really critical component of their business. But one of the big things I've seen is, sometimes in the race to establish that market leadership, investments are being made in MarTech without proper planning in place. And without that careful planning, businesses generally aren't able to realize a healthy return on investment in the desired time horizons, even with that new shiny technology. So I'll give you an example, because Yender, I know you're going to ask for one. And I can't name the previous implementation partner or the client. However, the client had been sold the brand new spanking red Ferrari of technology, without the implementation partner really teaching them how to drive the car, or let alone really fill the car up with any petrol as well. Now, I know the cost of petrol at the moment is high, but it's important that clients really work with a partner for a partnership. And for us, that means ongoing engagement to get the best out of their technology. We don't want to see our clients not able to drive their new car out of the garage. We want them to get the ROI they deserve. So that would be that piece around the pandemic and that kind of increase in terms of spending. In terms of the catalysts, the people driving it internally within their businesses, these are the people that are reading the industry press. They're very much aware on what's happening around their competition, and they've seized that opportunity and used that as a way to really push forward within their different stakeholders to get funding to do some of these projects.
Dominic, want to have some reaction before we give the floor to Adam?
Yeah, because Benny brought up a really interesting point with that Ferrari and with that expensive piece of technology without really no reasonable use for that, at least at the beginning. And this is where we kind of or why we really came up with this strategy of the unified DXP, and really having the entire platform which offers you really the whole framework for that digital transformation, if you will. So actually you don't have to do this expensive upfront investment of buying some really expensive tools where you are still not sure actually how you are leveraging, how you are going to leverage those tools, right? So in other words, what we kind of preach to the market is that, okay, we have a platform which maybe is not really the perfect in every single aspect, right? And they are definitely more advanced marketing automation or email marketing standalone tools. However, our platform really offers you a great foundation. So actually you can start with that journey, right? And once you advance, maybe you will figure out that our platform is good enough for all of the use cases, and you don't have to go and buy those Ferraris, if you will. Or maybe in some particular use cases, you at the end of the day decide to do that. But whatever choice you make, you can take a time and you can start actually experimenting with those various tools and really you can start to move from you know, fairly unsophisticated and immature person or company, you know, and grow over time. And if you realize actually that there is some piece of the functionality or some capability which you are missing, you can simply plug that in. But you don't have to do that at the start, and you certainly don't get yourself into the situation that you are really buying, you know, at the beginning, very expensive piece of technology where actually you still don't know how you are going to use that. So yeah, I just wanted to add this because we also discussed that a little bit earlier today with Linda during my Q&A.
Yeah, and let's get back a little bit later about that journey and growing and where it makes sense to grow and everything. Yeah, but I would like to get back to that COVID situation, a COVID catalyst question, and learn Adam's point of view on that, and then get back to that like journey and expensive cars.
Yeah, no, I love the Ferrari analogy and the fuel analogy. We see that a lot with a real lack of resources / fuel, you know, in terms of people to be able to actually run the machines, run the, you know, drive the Ferraris. So I definitely see that. But just coming back to the COVID catalyst, I think it's important to, I suppose, focus in on what that meant for organizations and why it was then a catalyst around certain areas of digital maturity or digital transformation, in that it obviously, you know, broke the supply chain or the value chain for some organizations, in that they couldn't sell the products or get the products to market, or they couldn't interact with customers face to face. So you know, those sort of more obvious areas of change around e-commerce obviously, you know, just blew up big time during the COVID period. Everyone had to move very quickly on that front. Anywhere there was an opportunity to get in front of the customer or communicate better with the customer, so things like chats or you know, messaging tools, managing information flow between customers and the organization. So we certainly saw a lot of focus in that area. I think I saw a statistic from McKinsey, a study that they did, where they called out that organizations have essentially jumped about 7 years in terms of their maturity around share of digital or digitally enabled products. So I think it's safe to say that obviously it's forced a lot of change, and we've certainly seen that as a really strong catalyst for organizations to invest more in digital, but also probably have more of a value focus on it. So, you know, not just investing for the sake of it, but being quite pointed with where that investment actually goes. So that's sort of what we're seeing.
Let me connect that with that actually Ferrari thing, because when we were like previously discussing with different partners and customers the digital experience maturity model and digital experience maturity as such, I like to see it as a journey, you know, that like it's constant improvement. There are like steps, there are like different journeys, different steps for different customers, and there are also like different ends, because the ultimate goal is not to like for everyone to grow to that like mega city level, which is the final stage in our model, or any other like highest stage in any other model. So again, using the car thing, like that's not a goal for everyone to buy a Ferrari. If you are in a business of lumberjacking, you probably will not use Ferrari. Yeah, you will probably need some Range Rover or Toyota Hilux, yeah, or some car like that. Yeah, so that's basically that. The goal, the end game, is really different for everyone, and the journey is different for everyone. Yeah, and for that journey and for that establishing the different goals, and again realizing that there are like different journeys for different customers. Yeah, how much actually you see currently on the market that actually customers and partners realize that this is really their the role of these advisors, partners, or vendors to find the right way, yeah, because it's not the same way, same journey for everyone, yeah. So like Benny or Adam, I don't know, like let's start with Benny here because the Ferrari was your idea. So let's not consider only Ferrari, but also some Range Rover.
Yeah, let me before I
yeah, sorry, I didn't see Dominic. Sorry.
Yeah. Let me just very quickly say something on top of what you said, because I think that you brought up a very important point, because many of the companies who we are all working with, they are actually not the people who can afford to buy the Ferrari, right? Like that's also a very important thing, because many of the companies, and again, I guess our own company is the prime example of that actually, oftentimes we are really competing with the competition, which is n times higher and has like n times more budget for the things, right? So we also need to be smarter, right? Because like even if we would somehow find a way how to buy the Ferrari, we would have troubles to pay the insurance, right? And things like that, right? Or even pay that gasoline, because it takes, I don't know how many liters per 100 kilometers or miles, right? So that's also important aspect, that it's not even the goal or an ability, because many of these companies we are working with, they simply don't have budgets, and they will never have that luxury to be able to even think about these Ferraris. So sorry, I just wanted to add to this.
Yeah, no, and a really important point. I think when it comes to advisors and doing your research on what does that next step in technology look like, you need to, if you're going to work with a partner, they need to be tech agnostic and really understand your business objectives, your budget, what you're trying to achieve. Because if they're, there's some partners out there that are, have a very strong connection with, this provider or that provider, and at the end of the day, they get a rebate and they're going to push down a single partner. You need to make sure you're working with a partner you can trust, that looks at, as I said, those objectives, the budget you have, the people you have on side, the internal capabilities, and really set yourself up for success. So ensuring you're working with an advisor who knows the market well is probably my biggest piece of advice there.
Adam, what's your point of view on the journey?
Yeah, I think what Benny said is spot on. It's the process we take our clients through. Is we go through those 7 pillars and understand what clients need, what their users need, and then we put forward a recommendation around what car they need to buy, right? So and often that car is different for every client and every use case. So I think that's really the only way to go about it. As much as Kentico would love to have its partners only recommend Kentico experience, the fact is that clients need digital agencies to have other tools and platforms and products that they can put forward for certain situations.
Yeah, and definitely, and that's for sure, again, very well aligned with that, like unifying DXP and its composability. Because if the best way to start, let's say, if you are not already on that mega city level, if the best way to start building your digital experience maturity to the level that actually is aligned with your business goals and business strategies, the best way to do it is with some unified platform, as Dominic explained earlier, or at least this is our idea. This is our opinion. Yeah, and then while you are growing, yeah, you obviously need like decompose and plug in something like different, something like better, something more suitable to some specific needs. And then again, if actually the advisor, if the partner has more tools and more technologies, that they are really familiar with, and they can help again the customer to grow through the journey and build on top of the unified platform, or maybe like even start with higher composability. If the customer is already there, this is then the role of the really trusted advisor and the best business partner, which is obviously the ultimate goal of digital transformation, digital marketing, digital strategic agencies. As at least as I would expect that as a client. Okay, we are slowly moving forward, and we have some like 13 minutes left in the panel discussion. So let me move forward to more specific areas of digital experience maturity. Because there are like different models. Our digital experience maturity model and the models you described. Do you consider any element of digital experience maturity models and these journeys like more important in digital transformations for your clients, like right now, currently with the current situation in the world, and with the current like digital transformation pushes? Is there anything which you can like easily say in 90%, this is the crucial part, or is it really like not possible? Who looks like has the answer? Benny?
I can take that.
Adam? Okay.
Sure. Look, I don't think there's any one thing that is the most important thing to consider when it comes to these kind of benchmarking and maturity models. So I'm probably going to sit on the fence there a little bit, but I think coming back to what Benny was saying around the fuel in the car, I think that's probably something that we do see is often missed, is just the people side or the resourcing side of digital. It still comes down to people making all of this happen, and it's important that organizations recognize that they need to invest in people to be able to actually make these things happen. Too often we see clients underinvest in their sort of digital teams or the people that are actually expected to enable these things, and that often then results in things like burnout or people moving on and that knowledge seeping out of the organization because there was too much pressure on that individual or that team. So I suppose that's probably just one aspect of that digital maturity life cycle or journey that I would highlight, is that it at the heart of it, it's people that need to make all this happen. So I think organizations need to put more energy and focus on that.
That's really great answer. Thanks for that, Adam. Benny, there.
I agree with Adam a lot. The people, the resources there to really enable the projects has been really difficult. Obviously we haven't had international travel coming into the Australian market, and there's been, I guess, a bit of a gap in terms of the expertise and the knowledge that we get a lot from the international market. I think in terms of maturity and what kind of is the focus at the moment for a lot of our clients, macro changes in the industry around the third-party cookie, the death of the third-party cookie, has been a really big wake-up call for a lot of our clients, and helping them build out a clear first-party data strategy for activation, personalization, all the way through to attribution and business intelligence, has become really important, a really important focus for clients. So I guess our team here, we've been using a cookieless world mitigation plan with clients, looking at things such as server-side tagging or building our custom ROI dashboards to utilize the client's first-party data, and really helping clients understand where they can activate that critical first-party data to strengthen their media activation or creative development or personalization across their channels.
Dominic, do you have like anything you can say from like the high level, not from like one partner, but what we see in the whole network?
Yeah, and I think that both Adam and Benny talked about this actually a bit earlier, and that's this part of the roadmap and really the entire planning and making sure that at the client side there is enough capacity, and resources to make sure that they can really continue moving forward, right? So it's not just that they do some big project, right? And then they basically tick the checkbox and say like, okay, this thing is done, and let's not worry about it anymore. I think that really the key here is be able to continuously working, on that process and continuously improving, because the pandemic and everything what is happening in the world today also means that things are changing in the lightning speed, and everybody needs to be able to react, and everybody things are moving forward so quickly that the companies today, really every company needs to be able to react and somehow be able to catch up with that speed, and that for me is really the key part here, that actually those companies, they don't consider this as a project with the start and end, but they rather think about this as a continuous improvement process.
Okay, and you mentioned that like it's a lot of changes is happening with the lightning speed. Yeah, so we have like 5 minutes. Yeah, so take your crystal ball, and what would be the thing to watch? Not this calendar year. What would be the thing to watch in 2-3 years to make sure that companies are ready to continue tackling the digital experience maturity?
Yeah, so for me personally, and I hope that most of you actually have been able to make it to Irina's talk. Irina Guseva from Gartner, she was talking today about the XP trend, and one trend which really resonates with me well, and where I really see a lot of future, is this trend of total experience, where simply business to consumer, business to business, and business to employee will somehow really merge together, and that actually the everybody will be looking for sort of their total experience, and will be everything really at kind of one place. And I really see there a role of DXP more as an aggregator of the information, because today, in every company you have so much different sources of information, and you have plethora of systems who are trying to somehow synchronize and exchange the information, etc. But what we are really missing at the end of the day is one stream of data, one stream of information, where everything is kind of polished for you and prepared, so actually you can consume that information. Because already today people are really overwhelmed with the information, right? Like when you look at your cell phones, like every couple of minutes everybody gets the notifications, right? Like from social networks, working emails, personal emails, right? Like when I look at myself, as an example, like I have in my private mailbox, I have over 4,000 of unread emails, right? And I will never be able to really get to them, right? So like everybody is overwhelmed, and we need to, I guess as a society as well, really start to put the things in order again and take control back, because we are really, like overwhelmed with the flow of the information which is around us. And this is where I see really the role of DXP as an aggregator, hopefully, of that information, and at least in the business world, trying to really, for the customers, for the partners, for the employees, really to aggregate the information and somehow, really helping to put these things in order again.
Thank you very much, Dominic. Adam, what's your crystal ball saying?
Obviously, Metaverse. So it's going to be all about the Metaverse, isn't it? That's where it's going to be. No, look, I suppose I'm going to come back to the people thing. I think that's an interesting one to think about is how people are going to be operating and working in the future. So the first thing to think about there is obviously the next generation. They're all digital natives. It's all just they've been using this stuff since they were basically born. I see how quickly my kids pick up new technologies, and it just it blows my mind as someone who's in the tech world that they just get it so much quicker than I do, and I think I get it quickly. So I think that's sort of watching out for the next generation and what they'll bring, and that'll naturally push up the sort of digital maturity across the industry. And I think that then leads to kind of expectations of people getting their job done quicker. So we're seeing a big move towards low code or no code tools, and marketers wanting to be able to achieve things quicker. So I think there's definitely an opportunity there, and an opportunity for DXPs like Experience to play a key role in that. And then with that sort of efficiency piece around people's jobs, I think that's where artificial intelligence will obviously play a key role in not replacing our jobs, but helping us do jobs, the jobs that we need to get done more effective, and more efficient. And then I suppose, finally, probably just the omni-channel piece is to your point, Dominic, around that full experience. It is going to have to be and include any kind of new channel that comes in the future, whether that's VR or mixed reality or the metaverse, if that eventually arrives.
Thanks a lot, Adam. And Benny, the last one to predict.
Yeah, look, I think a lot of the points that both Dominic and Adam spoke to 100%. I think the future need to be focused and will be kind of some of the ongoing pieces of the technology space. For me, I guess, looking at some of the challenges to expect, I think in the future, like the MarTech space is really daunting for businesses. There's frequent acquisitions, there's lots of rebranding, there's new breed solutions all the time, which is making it challenging for businesses to assess the right fit within their tech stack, and really to help them and them to prioritize what gaps to be addressing. So I think it's really important for businesses to understand their internal capabilities to leverage their own technology stack and match that with a partner that is able to help them realize ROI and able to provide services throughout that digital end-to-end journey. And I think having a strong partnership with that digital partner will really then help navigate those changes as they do arrive in the next few years and ongoing, and making sure that they are kind of getting the best bang for buck and increasing their maturity within their platforms.
Thank you very much, Benny. And we are at the end of our panel discussion. Thank you very much, gentlemen. So we've been talking the digital experience maturity as a journey. We've been talking the catalysts, both internal and external, and how to spot them, how to react to them. We've been talking about the next trends and how to actually approach the digital transformation and digital experience maturity growing. Thank you very much to my guest, Dominic Pinter, Managing Director of Kentico Experience.
Thank you.
Adam Griffith, Managing Director at Luminary.
Thanks, Anna.
And Benny Lucas, Head of Marketing Technology at Resolution Digital. Thank you, Benny.
Thank you so much.
I would like to thank Resolution Digital as a gold sponsor of this panel discussion. And with that last thank you, I'm passing the word back to Hanka Malíková to the studio to slowly end the day one of Kentico Experience Connection 2022. Hanka, the floor is yours.